welcome everyone to the Dr. Pill Show, starring me, Dr. Pill. We have a very wonderful segment for you guys here tonight. But before we get started, I'd like to clear up just a few rumors that I might not be a real doctor. But I like to prove them wrong. There we go. I like to prove them wrong by showing my doctorate degree in psychology. And yes, that is my name, Andre Scott Pill. I was adopted by a Cuban-American family at the age of 2 months. But enough about me. Our segment for today is called Serious Issues in the Modern Era. And our guests for today are Sally for Galaxy, Ian Michael Pregnance, we have Brent Dover, and we have Ethan Patrick Allen. So we have a few sponsors today. There we go. Our sponsors for today are Apple, we make it, you buy it. The Hood, morning after pills. Use it, dog, use it. We also have the U.S. Army, go Army Man strong. And we have the Big Oil Company, we didn't do it, we swear. So let's start off the show with our first guest. We have a very special girl with us here tonight that literally believes that she has a disease, an illness that we all currently suffer from, texting. Please welcome Sally for Galaxy. Sally? Sally, look up. Sally?
My name's S4. Call me S4.
Well, all right, S4. Please tell us about yourself and what your life is like.
Oh, fine. I live here in Melbourne. I don't work. It's too much work. I have lots of friends. They're on Facebook. They're all my BFLs. Bitches for life. I'm very social. I have a record of posting my life every 6.5 seconds on Twitter. Talking to creepy people. Hashtag FML on TV. In it for fame.
Well, so this disease, texting you said it was? What made you realize you were suffering from it?
Well, you see, I was scrolling down the park with my phone, and I was trying out this nature app, and, well, it sucks. Nature has too much good. And, well, I was using it, and then I wasn't really paying attention where I was going, and I fell into the fountain, and my phone broke and short-circuited, and when I looked up, there were so many people on their phones. It's like as if aliens had come down to Earth and brainwashed everybody. They were like zombies.
So what did you do?
I did what every other normal teenager girl did. Went and bought another one.
Okay. So why do you think texting is an illness?
Well, Dr. Pill, it's not if it's an illness, but the fact that it is an illness. It's chronic and addictive. Once you start, you never stop. After that incident in the park, I tried holding my phone down for myself, but after 5 seconds, I'd immediately pick it back up again. So then I attempted to break my phone so I wouldn't have the urge to use it. I broke after 10 minutes and I bought another one. Then I tried putting it down and not messaging anybody after I got texted, but that didn't work either.
Well, did anyone else experience some of these symptoms?
Why, yes. I tried some of these trials on my friends, and, well, they were all the same. You haven't noticed yet, have you, Dr. Pill?
What do you mean?
You're already texting somebody.
Well, you might be onto something. Well, last question. Do you think this disease can be cured?
With lots of therapy, painful experiments, and lots of useless debating, why, yes. Maybe one day there can be a cure.
All right. Well, thank you for coming tonight.
Leaving stage. Hashtag, if you seriously be creeping.
All right. Well, our next guest, I'd like to bring out Ian Michael Pregnance, or I Am Pregnance.
That's I Am Pregnant stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's from Plainfield, New Jersey. He claims to have fathered 15 children from 16 different women.
Yeah.
He also says that he is sick and tired of all these so-called players out there who be making a bunch of babies and not taking care of them. Well, I am pregnant. The first question I have for you is, how is that possible to have 15 children with 16 women. Doesn't really make any sense.
Well, Doc, you know what? It was a drunk night. They were conjoined twins. Next question, man. I don't even talk about it.
Well, so what is it that bothers you about most of these so-called players?
Well, it's like this. I just feel this whole situation lately is just way out of control with these young people nowadays. Everybody's in such a rush to jump in the bedroom, and they don't even take the time to get to know each other. Just strangers in the night, that type of deal. I mean, seriously, these women run around here like psycho stalkers, texting the man, blowing up his phone till all the minutes run out. The welfare phones don't have too many minutes on them a month. Once they're gone, it's over with. So, and after they done burned out all the text messages, the minutes, and killed the battery on the phone, next thing you know, they're on the computer, they're on Facebook, they're going crazy trying to find them, they're Instagramming, Twitter and everything, like our last guest, you know what I mean? And leaving all kinds of messages talking about who is this chick that keeps liking all your statuses, and why is this other chick got a baby on here that looks just like you, I don't know, could be. I ain't gonna tell her that. But all this madness just because everybody want to jump the gun, so to speak, no pun intended, and get into the whole sex part of the relationship without doing the whole courtship part like it should be. Next thing you know, she's laid up pregnant, he's all MIA, and I ain't talking about on South Beach neither. So that's why we got all these women running around here trying to raise kids by themselves, trying to teach little boys how to be men. But the problem is these little boys can't make that transition into men without someone really showing them how to do that. These women really need to stop falling for these little crackerjack ass lines these fake players be giving them. You know what I'm saying? And these fellas, please, whatever you do, please stop lying to these women just trying to get in them. And if it's only physical, say it's only physical. And wrap it up so you don't catch nothing critical. That's all I'm talking about. And whether you do, whatever you do, you're going to go around making babies, stick around to raise them right. It's not just a woman's job, like they say. It takes a whole village to raise a child. Everybody needs to get involved. I take care of all my kids. You know what I'm saying? They're all over the place. They well fed. They know who daddy is. And, that's not easy to do. You know what it's like trying to buy 15 PlayStations at Christmas time? Huh? You know what it's like before that? I got to come up heavy in the casino in December just to pay rent in January. It's crazy. So, but it's all worth it in the end, man. My kids, my inspiration. I wouldn't change it for the world. So fellas, like I said, if you're going to make the babies, raise the babies. Show some more respect to the ladies. That's right, even the crazies. So, I still get along with all my baby mamas. And, that's enough about me. Back to you, Doc.
Well, I feel you, and I'd like to thank you, Ian, for coming on our show tonight.
Right.
But our next guest is, let's put your hands together for our next guest, Brent Dover,
Right.
from Seattle, Washington. He was born a girl, but now a man. And he was kicked out of the Army because of it.
Hey, you
should
have some girl points? Call me later.
Nice to meet you, Brent Dover. I'm sorry, I mean Brent Dover.
It's okay, it happens all the time.
So first off, why did you get the sex change?
Well, you see, when I was a little girl, I was always into the girls. I like the girl parts, like the boobs, all that stuff. I was always into it. And it was kind of, it wouldn't make sense for two girls, I mean, it's happened, it's okay, but it'd be easier if one of us was a guy. So I wanted to get the parts, but that wasn't the main thing. The main thing was my dad always wanted a boy. My mom could never do it. So he always took it out on me. He would take me hunting instead of going shopping. He'd buy me suits instead of dresses. And it's hard. It's just hard to live with all that pressure, It's just hard.
Excuse me, Mr. Pregnant, you had your time.
Hey, I'm always on the clock.
But back to the topic. How long were you in the Army, and what rank were you before you got kicked out?
I was in for about 9 years. I had the rank of sergeant.
So why did you choose the Army?
Well, after I got the sex change, my dad said, or when I was getting the sex change, my dad said that I should prove that I was a man and go into the Army and follow in his footsteps and say I was a man, act manly, do manly things, just to be like, I'm a man.
Okay. So why did you get kicked out?
Well, see, Doc, that's a long story. What happened was, I had top secret clearance. I was one of the secret people or whatever, and so that means that they had my fake birth certificate because I had to say I was a guy from the beginning, just so it looked legit. And one day, my commander, he called me into his office and he's like, "So, you've been acting strange lately. Is everything all right?" I said, "Yes, Commander." And he's like, "Okay." And then he was like, we've been seeing some of your practices and we don't necessarily agree with them and that we think they're kind of strange. And I was like, "Yes, sir, okay, well, I'll work on those." And he's like, "Okay." And then, so he decided, after I left that evening, he decided to do a background check, like just a random check. And he went through my credit card account and saw that I've been going to the doctor a lot. And he's like, well, I should probably get into that deeper. So he calls my doctor. My doctor goes, "Oh, yeah, Brent Dover. Yeah, he's been coming here a lot. He's been trying to get a sex change for a couple years now." And so my commander called me in the next day and goes, "All right, I'm going to ask you one question. And know this. I already know the answer to the question." He sits me down and he goes, "Have you ever, or are you a female?" And I looked at him and I thought, and I was like, "Well, I've been saying I was a guy from the beginning, and I can't go off now saying I'm a girl." So I just said, "No, sir, I've always been a guy." He was like, "Wrong." He leaned back in his chair and he goes, "I called your doctor last night, and he said, we found out that you were a girl, that you've been lying the whole time, and all that stuff." And he's like, "Isn't that right? Olivia Renee," which was my real name before. That was my birth name. So he keeps going, and he's like, "So why'd you lie? Why'd you forge your birth certificate? You know it's illegal and all that stuff." And I started crying. I couldn't handle all that. And he goes, "The way we see it is that you can either be court-martialed and dishonorably discharged from the military, or you can go to court and fight and stay in the Army, but you will lose all your stripes. You go back down to the rank of private." And he's like, "What do you rather do?" And I said, "I don't know, Doc. I don't know, man. I need some time to think." So he leaves the room for about 5 minutes, and I'm thinking, and he comes back and says, "Have you come up with a decision?" I said, I think I'm gonna be on. I'd rather be discharged in court-martial than lose everything I have and lose my pay grade and all that." He's like, "Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but okay. But I want you to know before you leave that if you would have joined the military before you got the sex change, you could have got the sex change for free, and there wouldn't have been a problem with that." And I was just like, "Man, I just wasted my whole life and all that." So,
Well, I'm sorry to hear about that, but I have one more question for you, Brent. How is it that your life and your ability to get a job has changed, or how has this affected?
Well, I learned a lot in the military. I learned leadership and time management and all that stuff. And since I got fired or kicked out for lying about it, every time I'd go to a job interview or something, I'd straight up say, "I forgot my sex change. I was a girl, now I'm a man," and all that stuff. But it really hasn't affected me. I'm a very well businessman, and life's really good. You know, I got married, all that stuff. So life is good. Life's good. But it's different. There's some hard parts, like when I first got out, it was hard to adjust and all that stuff. But life's nice.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you, Doctor.
And for our last guest, we have Ethan Patrick Allen. He is from the Bronx of New York and says that he's just sick and tired of global warming. Well, Ethan,
Please. Sorry, right there. You gotta call me Big Oil. When my mama calls me Ethan. Alright.
All right, big one. Don't you own like 20 Hummers, 5 factories, and 3 oil rigs?
Yeah.
But weren't you also on MTV Cribs?
Yeah.
And aren't Hummers bad for the environment?
Well, yeah. What's your point?
Are they bad for the environment?
Well, yeah. Alright, let's move on. Alright, let's just get back to the topic at hand here, alright? Global warming is messing up our world. The worst thing is, you hear everybody now complain about, they always blame global warming. I mean, it pisses me off no end. You know?
What do you mean?
It's like, the backyard, oh, that tree, I love that tree, but it just died, oh, it must be global warming. Damn grass is dying, oh, global warming. My plant died, global warming. You know, I'm gonna go get a little civic because I'm trying to stop people against global warming, even though I got this big ass factory over in the Bronx. It's like, everything is global warming. It's like, why don't you just water your damn plant once in a while? Why don't you cut your grass? Why don't you go water your tree? Not everything is because of global warming.
I see what you mean. Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
Oh, hang on a sec. I got to lock my helmet. Hang on. Alright, it was only about an 8-mile drive, so I'm not doing too bad on gas. Alright, but no, man, there's one more thing I want to talk about. Everyone thinks it's all about the oil rigs, the factories, all that's causing it. I'm sorry and convinced that's just a government thing, all that kind of crap. I don't think it's anything like us, you know? It ain't me. My oil rigs are fine, my Hummers are fine, all that's fine. You know, I water my trees, I water my plants, so it's all good. It ain't global warming, and I'm not going to blame that. But, no, man, that's about it.
Alright, well, Ethan, I'd like to thank you for coming on our show tonight.
No, man, you know, it's my pleasure. Just people got to stop blaming global warming. You know, it ain't always that. Try to find another reason.
That don't look healthy, man. That don't look healthy for the environment, bro.
Nah, man, that's a storm.
Storm.
Nah, man, that ain't no smoke. That ain't for me.
Yeah.
You see that little spit right there? That's just the sun peeking out. That's just a storm.
Yeah.
Storm rolling in, you know? It ain't me, you know? It's like what my motto was before. He didn't do it.
Alright.
Oh, no, you go back to that other one. No, that one's good. See? That's
What's
clear.
that?
Those are
Machine you
clouds.
got?
Those are clouds. There ain't smoke. See,
Nah,
these are
bro.
clouds. You probably see my buddy Jim over here. Everyone's just hanging out, having a good time. It ain't me, bro. You gotta go to all the other factories, all the other little rigs. You gotta go to the Hummer manufacturers. It's not my Hummer.
Yeah,
I got 20 Hummers, one in every color depending on my mood during the day. Right now I got red and black because I'm determined. I'm determined to stop people from blaming global warming.
And you don't see that as being the root of the problem, huh?
You know what? No. It ain't my Hummer, it's the problem. It's anyone else's Hummers. Feel me?
Man, you know what? I got better things to do, man. There's girls out there that need attention. Come out of here, man. I love y'all.
Go find another Joanne Quinn, alright?
Well,
Like I said, man, initials, EPA, it's all good. And no, it does not stand for Fire Protection Agencies. You know, EPA, patch it out, big oil.
alright, well, I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight and watching the show. I'd like to thank all of our guests here tonight for taking the time out of their schedules to tell us about their problems. And I think we've learned a lot about these people and their problems and how we can, you know, put that into our everyday lives. When it comes from putting down the phone every now and again to, you know, take a look at the world and soak it all in. We also learned to use protection because it definitely helps out in the long run. We learned about being tolerant of people who are different from ourselves. And lastly, we learned that even big companies care about the environment. So thank you guys, and tune in next week when I have my dear friend Oprah and Barack Obama, where we come and talk about this healthcare once and for all. Thank you guys, and good night.
Yeah, Dr. Phil.